Hi everyone, welcome back to Beyond Your Knowledge. Today we're going to be studying Arachidonic Acid Pathway. And before we continue, I would like to share with you Proverbs 29:25 and says that the fear of man lies a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe. So that means that when we trust in God, we are safe. Okay, with that in mind, we can move on. Let's just see the arachidonic acid pathway. So everything for the arachidonic acid pathway start with the phospholipids. So you have your phospho. Okay, let's just do it in blue. So you have your phospholipids. Okay, so your phospholipids is going to be arachidonic acid. Okay, so this arachidonic acid is going to give you two things. One is the, let's do it here on the side. One is the leukotrienes, and the other is the prostaglandins. Okay, now the leukotrienes will give you two things. Okay, one is called the leukotriene, and I'm going to abbreviate it leukotriene B4. So leukotriene B4. Also the other, let me just put this, all these are going to put in boxes because it's probably easier. Okay, so yeah, in boxes. Yeah, so now also leukotrienes will give you a few more things. Okay, so and those are going to be leukotrienes C4 / leukotriene D4 and leukotriene E4. Got it? So now what's going on with each of those? The leukotriene B4 irresponsible of leukocyte attraction. So attraction with two T's. Okay, now this leukocyte attraction should go to cause here inflammation. So basically this is inflammation. What else can cause inflammation? Well, the LT or leukotriene C4, D4 and E4 can cause inflammation eventually, but before that, so we need to come here and open a new box, and this one is going to cause vascular and other effects. Okay, so this leukotriene C4, leukotriene D4 and leukotriene E4, they're going to cause vascular and other effects. And then this vascular and other effects is going to act and is going to cause an inflammation. Got it? Now, you remember we're talking about that yeah, let me see, I would like to do something. This looks a little bit more, let's put this a little bit more up. Okay, Yeah, and then yeah, just that looks more like yeah, that okay. And then I will put this green starting point. Okay, yeah. With that in mind, we can continue. And the other that we're going to see is the prostaglandins. The prostaglandins are two. What are those two prostaglandins? So let's just draw here. So 1 and 2. Let's see if we have room there. One of those prostaglandins is called thromboxane. Okay, yeah, is one of the prostaglandins, thromboxane. Then the other prostaglandin is prostacyclin. Prostacyclin. Okay. Yeah, so those are the prostacyclin. Now, these prostaglandins go directly to cause a vascular and other effects. So prostaglandin come here, tube. Okay, tube. And then these vascular effects cause inflammation. Got it? Yeah. Okay. Now probably we can just mention some drugs that are going to act in some of those places. So let's just do something here. We're going to copy this and we're going to open a slide to paste it here, to put a little bit small. Okay, then we're going to erase a few things here. Not erase, just change the position. I have more room. And okay, so now we're going to see some drugs. For example, if you go from if you use a drug from phospholipid or medication from phospholipid arachidonic acid, so that one is going to be, for example, the glucocorticoid. So for example here, so we can say that here from phospholipid to arachidonic acid, which is right here, so there is going to act the glucocorticoids. So those glucocorticoids also, they are going to act from prostacyclin to vascular endothelial effects. So prostacyclin is here, and vascular and other effects is here. So that means that the glucocorticoids also acts here in this site. Yeah, so basically yeah, also the glucocorticoids are there, but I think that let me just write it here. So glucocorticoids. Okay, well, since we saw glucocorticoids, we can give some more examples about glucocorticoids. I will open the new slide of glucocorticoids here. Okay, so well, we're going to open a new slide here, and we're going to talk about now of glucocorticoids. So what do they do, how they work? Okay, glucocorticoids. Well, the first thing that we need to see about the glucocorticoids is that they are going to inhibit the enzyme phospholipase A. So they inhibit phospholipase A. Phospholipase A2, okay? So this phospholipase H2 converts membrane phospholipids. So that means that this one converts membrane phospholipids in what? Into or to arachidonic acid. Okay, so if we go to the diagram again, so you have your phospholipids, which is a membrane, so that there is an enzyme which is called phospholipase A2. Okay. And then A2, and then it's blocked by the glucocorticoids. Got it? Okay, so what else we can say about the glucocorticoids? The glucocorticoids, when they do that, so this is going to turn to decrease the formation of inflammatory prostaglandin and leukotrienes. So that means that they are going to decrease the formation of inflammatory prostaglandins and leukotrienes. So that means that there will be less, because decrease the formation of prostaglandins. So we can see this in the diagram. Okay, so because you will see, so if we see it, so after arachidonic acid, who comes from arachidonic acid? Prostaglandin, leukotrienes. So everything that comes beneath of your phospholipase A, which is the enzyme responsible to convert phospholipids into arachidonic acid, is going to be blocked. So that means that the leukotriene is going to be blocked. So that means that prostaglandin is going to be blocked. And then if you see all those things induce at the end inflammation, and now if you block all this, so that means the inflammation is not going to happen anymore. Got it? Yeah. So now this is the glucocorticoids. So basically those are part of the anti-inflammatory. So how we can give a glucocorticoid to the patients? Well, we can, how is the way of administration? So we can give it intra-articular or systematically. So we can give it systematically or intra-articular. Okay, so intra-articular, so when we give intra-articular, so basically it's when we cannot give to the patient either NSAID or colchicine. Okay, so yeah, now this is a glucocorticoids, which basically they inhibit those two places, the prostacyclin and the glucocorticoids. And the phospholipase A2, which is the enzyme responsible to convert phospholipid to arachidonic acid. Well, let's see. The other drug that we can mention here, or the other medications, is one that is going to work from arachidonic acid to leukotrienes. Okay, so let's see who is that one. So this is this to understand that one, there are some of those, for example, Xylotone and Montelukis, but each of those, they are going to block specific places. But to understand this, the conversion of arachidonic acid to leukotrienes, so let's just do a pathway. Okay, see the pathway. So the pathway that we're going to open right now is called leukotriene. Okay, so see the leukotriene pathway. So we're going to open a new slide here, and okay, so before the slide, let me see. Yeah, so yeah, so basically we're going to see this also. This is going to block here. Okay, so block here and also block there. Okay, so from leukotriene, C4, D4, and E4 to vascular and other effects. Okay, now we're going to see the new pathway. So this pathway is called the leukotriene pathway. Okay, so the leukotriene pathway. So in this leukotriene pathway, we're going to learn different drugs and all these things. So, But before so before we draw this, so let's just say a few things. So this leukotriene pathway can be blocked by inhibiting the 5-lipoxygenase pathway. Okay, can be blocked. Oh, sorry. By inhibiting the 5-lipoxygenase pathway, or by blocking the leukotriene receptors. Leukotrienes receptors, okay? Got it? Now we're so these 5-lipoxygenase, this 5-lipoxygenase, the drug that is going to block this one is called xylotone. Okay, so that means that xylotone, this is a drug, so block 5-lipoxygenase. Okay. And then so eventually it's going to inhibit the formation of leukotriene B4, C4, D4, and E4. Got it? And if you see here, the pathway leukotriene B4 is here, C4, D4, and E4. Okay, so xylotone is going to block those for the because blocking the 5-lipoxygenase enzyme. Okay. There is another drug that we should mention here, which is called montelukast. So the montelukast is going to inhibit the LTD4 receptors, inhibit the leukotrienes D4 receptors. Okay, yeah. Okay, so down so those leukotriene modifiers are used in the treatment of asthma and allergic rhinitis. So those are leukotriene, so we use it. Used in asthma, also rhinitis, okay, which is allergic rhinitis. Okay, yeah, so basically are those. Now I think that with that in mind, so we can see better how the pathway it is. Okay, so I'm going to show you here leukotriene pathway, and we're going to start to go through this good pathway. Well, first, as we mentioned before, you need to start with the membrane phospholipids. So let's just start here. Membrane phospholipids. Got it? So membrane phospholipids go to be arachidonic acid that we already learned. Okay? Do you remember the enzyme that is going to convert your membrane phospholipid to arachidonic acid? Yes, you are right. It's phospholipase A2. Okay, so this is a 2. Then one time you have your arachidonic acid, you can go to two places. We're going to see those two places, okay? One go here, I go there. So then you have another enzyme here which is called 5-lipoxygenase, okay? And if you remember, we were talking here about 5-lipoxygenase right here, okay? Which is Charlatan is going to block that one. And what is the enzyme convert arachidonic acid to the 5-HPET, okay? And then we're going to see what all those work with, okay? So the 5, I mean, yeah, let's just first the 5-lipoxygenase okay, there we go. So act on arachidonic acid and give to us the 5-HPETE, okay? And then this 5-HPETE can go to two places, okay? One of those places is called the lipoxin A4, lipoxin A4, lipoxin B4, okay? And then what's going on here is going to decrease your leukocyte recruitment. Decrease your leukocyte recruitment. Okay, so I will put a square, so I mean all around, because otherwise it's easier than to identify. And then yeah, so cool. And I mean, yeah, those shapes. And in this lipoxin A4, lipoxin B4, which decreases the recruitment of the leukocyte, has a property which is called anti-inflammatory, okay? So this is anti-inflammatory. Got it? Now the thing doesn't stop here. The other 5-HPET is called 5-HETE, okay? Leukotriene B4. And the function of this one is it's a chemotaxis, so that means it's going to call the chemotaxis. This leukotriene B4 is chemotaxis. And then the other that we have here is leukotriene C4, D4, and E4. So you're going to abbreviate leukotriene C4, D4, and E4. All those cause three things: vasoconstriction, also increase your vascular permeability, so that means that their permeability also cause bronchospasm, which for this reason this is bronchospasm. This is responsible for asthma. And this, I just put this in a box here. It's a big box. Okay, yeah, so now all these go to do what? This is a pro-inflammatory. Basically, it's the one that is doing the war to the 5-HPET, which is anti-inflammatory. So how you can remember, so H has one more H. So yeah, so HPET E, which is this one here, has the letter P because it says I'm against of the pro-inflammatory. Okay, and who is the pro-inflammatory? Well, the 5-HET, which is leukotriene B4, which is responsible for chemotaxis, and leukotriene C4, D4, E4, and C4, CDE, which is CD4, D4, and E4 cause vasoconstriction, increases vascular permeability, and it is inflammatory. Now, the other that we are going to see, it is the site of the prostaglandin, which is this site here, which is here. We're going to be talking about prostaglandins. Prostaglandin H2. Okay, so this prostaglandin H2 has three things. So three groups. One is responsible for the prothrombic, antithrombic, and increased edema formation. Okay, so we need more room, so we're going to move to our slide, but let me just mention the three that we're going to see here. We're going to be seeing 1, 2, 3. So we're going to be studying thromboxane A2, prostacyclin. Okay, and then the last one that we're going to be seeing here, it is the prostaglandin D2 and E2. Okay, D2 and E2. Okay, so now with that in mind, so we are going to move to the other slide. So we're going to continue here. Okay, so remember that we're talking about the prostaglandin H2. Yeah, I think it's better if we do in the middle. And this prostaglandin H2 is going to split it in three. 1, 2, and 3. Got it? And we already saw some. I mean, we name it each of those, but let's just we name it. The first one is thromboxane A2. You remember the second one? Yep. The second one is called prostacyclin. Okay, and then we have one more to see here. Do you remember the third one that has two? Yeah, it's called prostaglandin. Prostaglandins D2 and E2. Got it? Now all of those has something to do. One is a prothrombic, okay, and then the other is antithrombic, and the other is edema formation. But yeah, let's see what does thromboxane A2 do. Yeah, so let's just see here. So thromboxane A2 cause vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction, and also increase. Do you remember that we're talking about that one of those is prothrombotic? Yeah, so that means that there is an increase of the platelet aggregation. Got it? Yeah. Yeah, and then the code for thrombotic. Now Let's see what else we can see here. The other one is prostacyclin. So in prostacyclin, we are going to see that it causes vasodilation. So basically it's the opposite at thromboxane A2. So it's the opposite thromboxane A2, while prostaglandin causes vasodilation. Okay, vasodilation and decrease your platelet aggregation. Okay, so now what else you can think about this? Well, if decrease your platelet aggregation cause vasodilation, so it is antithrombotic. Got it? And then the last one, the prostaglandins D2 and E2, what do they do? So basically they cause also vasodilation. Wow, you have more vasodilation now, so that means that you're going to have more vascular permeability. It's going to increase your vascular permeability. What happens if you increase your vascular permeability? So it's going to be what? It's going to be pro-edema, which is going to increase your edema formation. Make sense? Yeah. So basically this is the arachidonic acid metabolic pathways. So let's just write here the title. So this is your arachidonic acid pathway. Okay. Yep. So just better this corner here. Yeah. Okay. Now, so with that in mind, we can, I think, move on. Let's see. Yeah. So then we can come back to our pathway here. I mean, to our first diagram that we saw here, this one. So and then we can talk about the one more inhibitor, which is going to be the one that goes from arachidonic acid to prostaglandins. So that means that come from here, arachidonic acid to prostaglandin. Okay, and this one is going to be the cyclooxygenase. Okay, the cyclooxygenase. Cyclooxygenase, do you remember what are those? Yeah, we have two, the COX-1 and the COX-2. Got it? Yeah, so this the cyclooxygenase can catalyze the conversion of arachidonic acid to prostaglandins. Okay, so that means that they can they exist in two forms. So as I mentioned, COX-1 and COX-2. The COX-2 is an inducible enzyme that upregulated in inflammatory cells to increase the synthesis of pro-inflammatory arachidonic acid metabolite. So and there, what the pro-inflammatory, do you remember what we're talking about? Yeah, just is this here. This is the pro-inflammatory. Okay. Now, which is the 5-HETE, which leukotriene before, C4, D4, and E4. Okay. Also, some example of COX inhibitors. So we have the NSAIDs, which is indomethacin ibuprofen, which are going to inhibit those two. So inhibit those two, the COX-1 and the COX-2, they are inhibited by the NSAIDs. Oh, sorry. NSAIDs. By the NSAIDs, which we know in the indomethacin ibuprofen. And while there is another that is going to just inhibit the COX-2, which is called celecoxib. Okay. So, and I think, yeah, so basically this is all about. So we saw all those pathways, and so I think that with that in mind, we can take a break here for this. And thank you so much, and God bless you all, and we can do all things through Christ. Oops, sorry, not good thing. Oops. Yeah, so we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us, and God bless you all. Happy faces.